Universal Hotels. Welcome to the SeeWDW Near and Far podcast, where we explore perspectives of the Walt Disney World Resort from 10 to 1,000 miles away. I am Mike the Far in this equation.
And I'm John the Near.
All right, this week we are going to talk a little bit about Universal Hotels. John, you recently stayed in a Universal Hotel, and we will go over that in a bit. But first, how did your week in the parks go?
My week in the parks includes a Universal Hotel, so I'm going to skim by that part of it. I did want to mention, though, that I did go to Horror Nights again, and the reason I wanted to mention it is, oops, yeah, of course that went out. I finally saw the show, the Halloween nighttime fuel show.
Yeah, I saw that on your social media.
Yeah.
I figured that you went and finally got to see it. What'd you think of that?
I had liked it. It's not really my thing, but and when I say that, I just mean it's not my thing because it's a real party kind of atmosphere. So, all right.
Yeah, that's my understanding is that it's I don't know, maybe geared more towards the 20-something crowd or 30-something crowd, or maybe the S&M crowd because of all that leather crap.
Yeah, there's a lot of fire and there's a lot of yeah, again, it was good, but not necessarily my thing. And I'll be able to show you some of it here. The one weird thing is we went in and they kind of told us to come down and sit in a really bad seat, and everybody else ignored it and just sat where they wanted. So we did get up and move at some point. We were like, can we go up further? And she's like, yeah, as long as you move all the way in. So I don't know. I guess I don't understand, what's going on exactly with that stuff. But yeah, there's a lot of acrobatics and fire and dancing. And weirdly enough, at one point, even there was, I guess you would call it twerking going on in the front. And I'm like, I'm too old to really get into it and do it a lot, but I'm not disappointed that I saw it once, though. It's definitely a really good show and worth seeing. The people are very talented. The stuff they do with fire, the acrobatics of it. I don't think you're supposed to videotape, so I tried not to be too obnoxious with it. But again, it definitely has a theme, so you can.
Yes, as you can clearly see, and it's got not only that, but it's got like these ritualistic kind of undertones and stuff like that.
I mean, I'd like to say it with a lot of things, but definitely don't take your grandma there.
It's not made
especially if she enjoys like church or something.
It's probably not made for the young kids either, right?
Yeah, they specifically announced when you get there. They said, this is for adults only, no children, and this and that. So they let you know. But again, it wasn't anything that bad. But it really wasn't. It's
Oh, well, they play like really like heavy music too, right? Like hard
Oh, yeah.
music and stuff during that. Like I remember them at one point. The show back there played like Rob Zombie type music, like heavy metal music. You know.
But like I said, it was good though. Overall, it was good. Like I said, it's not for kids, but it's not like X-rated or anything either. It's
Yeah.
family friendly enough that if you're an adult, you're not going to see anything weird that it's fine. But the fire is cool though. Like it really helps all the fire stuff they do. And like I said, I like fire. I like acrobats. Like so put it together and it was good for me. But I did want to mention too, and my parks part will be short this week. I don't know if we'll be back before Halloween. So this might have been my last night there. But anyway, I finally got to see the show, which was very good. And I went into the Bloom house again. It's got Freaky and the Black Phone,
Hmm.
and I have to tell you, this is this is what I have been saying the past couple of weeks. It's now towards the end of October, and those scare actors are really good. Like they got it down pat. Like we went through, and the Bloomhouse one, which didn't really rank that well at all in mine. Like I liked it, but I think it was like a 5 or something.
Yeah.
It was a 10
Wow.
on
No
that night.
kidding.
It was they scared perfectly so many times, and I'm like, there were, and I never even saw the movie for the first one, and it didn't even matter. I'm going around a dark corner, and again, a flash right in my face of all blackness, and a scare actor coming right at me, just, and I'm like, it was just so well done. Like I was like, but I always say though, when you go in September, they're just starting to get the hang of it. When you go in, as time goes on, they get better and better. And towards the end of October, if the cast is the normal cast, there, man, they really know what they're doing by then. They know when to scare you, how to scare you, and once again, I walk slowly through it too. So I always recommend a slow, steady walk because you'll get much better scares out of it. But and then I went into the Bugs house because it was 30 minutes until the Nightmare Fuel started, and there were people getting in line, but I'm not a 30-minute waiting kind of person, so
Mhm.
I said let's go through the Bug house first, and my wife said, well, what if we don't get it? I said, then I guess we won't see it. I don't know. Like I'm not. We got through the Bug house, which has one of the longest queues ever and exit queues too. It's like a
Yes, it
mile of
does.
walking. So we did that, and we still got in with 10 minutes to spare. So it worked out well that we did that first. The Bugs house was not really on that night. It was one of the ones I liked a lot, but even before we got in, it kept stopping for long periods of time. When we'd get in, everything would stop in it. Like I don't know who was in there, but they must have had some guests that were, instead of going forward, were backing up because they're scared or something. But and it kind of threw the scares off too, because I really liked that one, but wasn't that I didn't enjoy it as much. But again, the Bloomhouse one though, my wife and I both agree that was like a 10 out of 10 for that night at least. So
That's impressive. I mean, that they are like, practice makes perfect, and that repetition must really like get them, perfected. Get the whole thing just better and better and better. Every day. And again, you mentioned that the other week, but man, the fact that it went from a 5 to a 10, that's
yeah,
that's
yeah, it
pretty
really,
that's pretty awesome.
yeah, and it was really that good. So and then the next morning, like we stayed at Sapphire Falls, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. But the next morning, we went over to Islands of Adventure, and of course, it was extremely packed. Haggard's was at 135 minutes immediately.
Of course.
So we did though decide. Usually you can get on Velocicoaster, so we decided to try that. And I did want to point out though, and I'm sure you might have seen it already. The decorations are up.
Oh wow, yeah. And I saw your tree, like I saw that picture of the tree, and I was like, wow,
Yeah,
already.
the Zeus landing and the entryway. They started. I'm sure it's not complete, but even in Hogsmeade, they started putting up all the tinsel and stuff.
Hmm.
Since they don't do Halloween at this park, they can start it earlier. But I was gonna say I wanted to get a new video using my video glasses on Velocicoaster, and I messed up in a major way. Since I was on almost the back seat, so I decided I need to hold the glasses up to get over the people's heads and get a good video. And I have to say, I would have got an awesome video if I didn't have my finger in front of the damn thing. Look at that video. Oh, there's going down. How did I keep my finger so steady in front of it? Oh, look at
it
that.
would it would have been really
That would
interesting
have
if
been
you
a
would have
good
like
one.
you could have drawn a face on your finger and made it scream.
And for some reason too, this is supposed to record for 60 seconds. It stopped at 23 seconds just as I went over the water twist. And I literally had my hands up the entire time.
Oh my
And I
goodness.
don't know if you've ever been on it, but this thing is just a
No.
lap bar. So it is scary going over this part here
Uh,
with your hands not grabbing something. But I'm just like, I'm doing it for the footage.
uh-huh.
But somehow my pinkies must have been just, I kept them so well. Like, you you can't believe how well I kept my finger there.
Oh
Man,
my
I couldn't
goodness.
do
Yeah.
that if I tried normally. That's impressive that
Uh,
finger holding there. But it would have been
wow.
good footage though.
Yeah.
It would have been.
That's
So we
great.
went on Velocicoaster and then we went through, let's see, we went through Zeus Landing and we spotted, they're playing some of the Zeus characters are out dancing and such. And then we rode on Cat in the Hat. And honestly, that is about all we did because we don't have Express because it's not after 4 and the lines were very long. And again, I am happy that Universal is crowded because, I want them to do well. I want to encourage them to keep pouring money into Epic Universe. I keep hearing that they're the one roller coaster manufacturer said that they went from 1 order to 3. So there's even more stuff coming up that
Yeah.
no one even knows about yet. So, but one thing I did want to mention that I usually don't do, since I stayed there in the morning, we went over to Starbucks and we sat and had coffee and I think I had a breakfast sandwich and this is pretty much the view. You can see the umbrella there and stuff.
Hmm.
And it is something I don't get to do a lot, like it's nice to just sit there at the parks and enjoy the atmosphere, especially at Islands of Adventure. It's just such a pretty place. So I really do appreciate that I actually got to relax and not really care what I did there.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I know exactly where that's at. I remember sitting there drinking a coffee myself, probably in that same table that you
Oh,
have
I
there.
did want to mention this too. This is why I don't commit crimes. Man running from cats stops to pet cats, goes to jail. It's like, man, I probably would do that too. I'd be running. I'd be like, a kitty, kid. I don't know why. That just happened to be something I saved in the same time frame. So I'm like, wow. Why
That's
not?
funny.
So that's about it for Universal. Besides the hotel stuff that we can talk about, but yesterday we went over to Epcot, and I do feel bad about this, but my wife got the reservations in the morning, so I was up early enough to do it, and then I guess I kind of hoped that she was going to get the Guardians queue too, because I was going to try to get it too, but I was in the middle of doing some tax stuff that came up on Facebook, so I was in the middle of next screen and apply this, and before I knew it, it was 7. So I quick clicked on Disney, and all the passes were gone for Guardians.
Mhm.
And we got there around 3, and there was none left too. And the reason I feel bad about it is I don't really care if I ride it. I've ridden it so much. My wife's only ridden it a few times, 2 or 3. So I was hoping we could do it. So once again, I dropped the ball on that. I'm getting old. I'm putting my finger in front of the camera for roller coasters and getting my Guardians.
Again, I think that would have turned out really nice. You would have put a face on that finger, made it scream like did a voiceover of
Yeah, I
it
could probably
scream.
animate the thumb, the finger.
That's right.
That's a good idea. That'd probably do better than my normal stuff on Instagram. But
Oh,
yesterday we did go to Epcot. We rode Journey into Imagination. It wasn't exciting. It reminded me, why don't they just get rid of that or change it? But they're not gonna. But they got some big ideas for the most popular rides.
yeah.
They're gonna change them ASAP. So, and I did want to mention too. We had gotten this guava mousse
Hmm.
cake before, and you could see the pink there. And guava mousse is it's a very good. It's weird because it's got like a different like texture to it. It's not just chocolate cake. Well, it turns out that you see this
Hmm.
and you see that picture there.
Yeah,
See,
that doesn't look.
well, and somebody else had mentioned it too. My wife walked up to the window and said, Is there something wrong with this? Because we got it before, and it looks like it turned brown and it was pink. It's like, we thought maybe it was freezer burnt or something, and uh, they said, "Oh, no, no, it's fine, it's fine." So we ate it, and it tasted okay, but it was not the same. It was chocolate. It wasn't guava mousse. It was simply regular chocolate. And then somebody messaged me and said that they basically explained the whole thing to me. They said, "Oh, we got that last week, and what they changed it. It doesn't even look the same." It used to have a crispy cookie. The cookie was soggy, which is fine. I mean, it's a piece of cake, but before it was very crispy. See that picture there?
Yeah.
It reminded me of like those crisp, like butter cookies, that kind of crumble and,
Right. Yeah.
like really good. It was a soft sugar cookie, and you can see it's not even on there. It's kind of sliding off, like it's
Yeah.
not it's not made on there. They threw a chocolate cake thing on top of a stale cookie and just dumped the stuff on it. And I'm like, I don't remember them doing that before. Or I shouldn't say that. It always bothers me when they change stuff in the middle of the festival somewhere, usually to save money.
Hmm.
Guava mousse, maybe that's hard to get right now. Probably. But they did it before too. They used to have citrus orange chicken, and my daughter and I would get it like every time we went. It was so good. All of a sudden, we went one day, and the chicken was just gross. It was not good. Like we couldn't even. My daughter didn't eat it at all, and it was one of her favorite things. And I never got it again. If that tells you that, it just was like it. It reminded me of like a lower grade chicken, like just not good. And I'm like, that's just disturbing that they change things up like that. And this is my second thing that happened like that. And again, this was edible, but I won't get it again. This we got before, and my wife loved it, and she's like, "Oh, let's." She doesn't go to the parks that often. She said, "I want to get that cake again," and she was like, "Oh, that's not good." So anyway, just wanted to point that out. Disney does seem to change things up to save money randomly. Although, Bob Chapek said he's doing it because you wanted it that way, and
Yeah.
he's providing the best experience for you to have, you know, so everyone can experience good cake. That's
Yeah.
what,
So he's saying it, he's saying it's so everyone could experience good cake, but the reality is it's still garbage.
yeah. I did want to mention too, just as a side note, there's never a good place to talk about it. Just a little side note to Bob Chapek's interview that's been all over everything recently. And I have to say, unlike most people, I actually like what he said and I agree with it. If it were true, but it's not. He said he does the reservation system to ensure that everybody has a magical time in the parks and great memories and stuff. I don't experience that at all. I experience the parks have been more crowded and less magical than they were in 2017, 2018, 2019. Like there were parts in there where, the crowds would really shoot up, but then it would die down and you could always figure something out. I literally, as I've said in the past few weeks, I can't even watch the fireworks on Main Street. I can't get near it. And rides, Magic Kingdom and Hollywood, you're either going to pay for Lightning Lane or you're just going to wait a ridiculously long amount of time. It's not magical. It's not nice, at least not for me. And again, if he were reducing the number of guests so that everybody could have a good time without extreme crowds, I probably would have to agree with him and be like, it sucks that not everyone can get in, but hey, at least if you get in, it's going to be good. We're doing reservations and it's so crowded that I haven't been enjoying myself there much at all in the past like couple of months, I guess. Like really just it's been just bad. And before I was always able to figure out something, but it's been difficult lately. Hopefully that changes, but again, what he says and reality don't quite mix, and they always say too that's why they raise the prices. But my question is, I wonder how much they have to raise it to stop people, because yeah, if that actually worked, I hate to say it, but they need to raise prices a lot more, I guess, because the unbelievable high crowds that are there seem to have no issue with the prices. So I don't I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think it's gonna matter if you want to take a trip of a lifetime like that.
Yeah.
And you are one of those people that haven't been there or only go there every 5 years, you're still going to go there every 5 years. You're still going to take your trip of a lifetime. And if you're from a foreign country, you're definitely going to do that. So I don't think it's really made a difference. And I think people are smart enough, to be honest with you, to navigate that system, that reservation system. I mean, sure, we don't like it, nobody really loves it, but people are smart enough at this point to kind of know how to work
I,
that in their favor, I
I
think.
can say though, I feel like the parks are still extremely crowded,
Mhm.
and lines to get on it, anything are awful. But I have noticed certain things like the more expensive dining and stuff. I walked past
Right.
Chefs de France yesterday. It half the restaurant was empty, and I'm like, that
Yeah.
used to be hard to get in. It's like, so I feel like they are cutting back in other things. So
So
again,
that
I don't
tells me though that the people that are going to the parks are locals, pass holders, and people that have gone to the parks time and time again. So their strategy of raising prices to drive those people away, it's not working, you know,
Well, I
like you
don't.
said.
It doesn't feel like locals because again, when it first reopened and it was all locals, um, things like Star Tours would be full because the locals like it, you know. And now it's like it's the behaviors I'm seeing in the with the way the crowds do things seems like all people that don't know what they're doing at all. So
Oh yeah,
it doesn't
hey,
feel
maybe
like
that's
locals, but I don't know.
it. Might like it, you know, that might I might be completely wrong. It's just strange that somebody would spend that kind of money, you know, and go there for the first time and not
Uh,
go check out those nice restaurants. You know what I
Well,
mean? Like I.
that's what I'm not getting currently. You know, imagine going on vacation and oh, you're going to spend $8,000
Mhm.
and you're just going to wait in line, and it's going to be things are going to break. It's going to be an overall just mediocre. It's like I don't think I'd be real happy about that to spend
Yeah,
that kind of money just to be thrown in a giant line. But
I agree.
uh, I guess, but again, the parks are full, so hey, I think Bob is going to continue to raise prices. I guess he could raise them a lot more. He should just start doubling them all the time and seeing how ridiculous people get. I
I think
I
maybe
would
they
love to
reach a
see it.
threshold.
I'd love to see it. There'll be like people, all the bankers will be saying everyone's taking out a mortgage now for their. It's noted as Disney trip. It's like they're betting their house against. They're laying down equity on these trips. I guess
You
I
know,
don't know.
some people would do it. You know, they would. You know, some people.
Well, I guess we'll see. But anyway, I just wanted to bring that up. That what Bob Chapek said makes a lot of sense with the parks, but it's not what I see. And I'm there quite often, and I don't see it. But if it were true, I think I'd be happy. I'd be like, all right, I'm willing to have a harder time getting in if it's going to be a good experience every time I do. So anyway, this shirt sure is nice. I
Yeah, I
kind of
like
like
that
this
shirt.
one.
That's pretty cool. Like they're rolling out the 40th anniversary Epcot stuff now that didn't show up during the
Well,
40th anniversary, the initial thing.
I can tell you everything is still there pretty much that was there that night, you know, like it's and I wait the people who waited in line for an hour and a half and the you know I'm like or even longer to start, they all thought they were getting something that was so special, and it's like they still got like pretty much everything. It's like
I mean, that stuff's going to show up at the outlets at some point. So,
and I
what
don't even
is
know.
that? What
It's
is
like a
that?
desktop thing, and honestly, it's all right. But the lights actually glow in different colors. These lights, but it's not an impressive glow though. It's literally like looks like a light bright thing in there, just a little.
If the
Uh,
actual spaceship Earth would glow, you
yeah,
know,
if
kind of like
this
the beacon, that would be awesome.
it's heavy though, I can tell you that. I couldn't find a price on it, but I picked it up, and it's got batteries in it and stuff, and it's
It's
heavy.
just like a paperweight or something. Is
Yeah,
that
it's
what?
just a thing to put up. So.
Huh.
It caught my attention though because I like things. So
Yeah, and I was looking at that and I it's like, is that another cookie jar? But it's not big
no,
enough to be one.
no, it's not. So
Darkwing Duck, man, you don't. That's crazy. Look at that.
yeah, Scrooge McDuck.
Man, they got the Ducktail stuff out, and
I just thought it was interesting. Since my wife was with me, we went into a lot of the stores, and I usually don't. So she said some of these vans are new too. There's like a new couple of new designs. I don't know which one is the new design, but
mhm.
yeah, there's a picture of Roy in there too. You don't see him much. It's
No,
probably the
where?
only place you'll see him at Epcot.
What store is that? Is that that's not the Creation Shop, is it?
No, no, it's in the the one where you go near the World Showcase as you enter the
Okay,
World
I gotcha.
Showcase. So I
Yep.
forget what they call them, but
Oh, you
yeah, I
got the
got
pass holder bucket, huh?
yeah, yeah. My wife loves popcorn, so that's $13. It's not
Everyone's
that
complaining
impressive.
about, yeah, everyone's complaining about that design, saying how like I even said it. It almost looks like someone designed it on the free side of Canva and put it on
Oh
there.
yeah, it's not an impressive design, but I just love the yellow though. It's a very happy color. So
It
I
is limited. It'll be limited too as a pass holder thing. I mean, honestly, if I was down there, I would buy it, even though I don't really care for the design too much.
yeah, we went into the Canada store and we went into the Japan store,
Oh
and it
yeah,
made me wonder too. Are they going to get rid of this Mario stuff
that's a
when
good question.
Universal opens up? I don't know if Disney's going to. I know they don't technically own this store.
They
It's
don't.
a Japanese department store, so
It's a really good question. You got to wonder: is it? Are they going to get rid of it? I kind of think they won't. I think they'll keep it.
yeah, I don't think they have to because again, Disney doesn't own that store, and
Yeah.
it's been there since Epcot opened, as far as I know. I did want to point out too. Here's a look at the barges.
I was gonna say,
I
where's the burned out one? Isn't there one that burnt?
I don't think so. I think it was just a little firework one that blew up. But I did want to say though, when I was walking around, I remember I saw like these parts, like you can see inside of them, and it reminded me of like an alien spaceships in like a sci-fi movie. I like looked over and it looks like an alien spaceship landed with all the you
Yeah.
know the weird material and stuff. And
Weird
again,
alien taco ships.
here's the arch next to, like what exactly were they thinking with that? Just
I don't know, but
all the
thankfully it sounds like it's gonna go away.
all
So
the time they spent though was for sight lines and to make this just a beautiful place and world showcase. Like how could they be like, well, this doesn't matter? Well, I do know how. They said, oh, don't worry, the water fountain, you won't even see it. It's like,
yeah, I remember that. They
yeah,
said that, right? They
I
were
can
they were
still see
gonna
them. I don't
run the
know.
water.
And then when
And
the water fountain does go off, it looks like a little squirt gun or something. It's like,
well, and then you said they were running testing there at one point on them, and they just couldn't get enough water through them. Is what it looked like to you at
that's what
one
it
point.
looks like, but I have no idea. Yeah, I know no one cares, but I love these plants. I actually have some of that. It's the pothos. This is like the kind of plant that grows like in a house plant you'd buy at Lowe's,
Yeah.
but it gets so big at Disney. It grows right on trees.
Mm.
I don't know why I find that fascinating. And we did ride the Mexico ride too, the three Caballeros. So, and that wasn't a long wait. So surprisingly enough, that actually was fairly short wait. That's actually a view that you're looking at backwards.
Yeah, that's what I was sort of looking at. It was
Yeah, I was in the back seat, so I
That's
turned around
interesting.
just to see a different perspective.
Huh.
So then we stopped at the creation shop,
I
and
love that Jungle Book. Man, that's a pretty cool
apparently
pattern.
that this is new. I rely on my wife to know like what's actually new or not because I have no idea. Yeah, the Jungle Book. So that was a pretty cool one.
So I was
Very
gonna
cool
say, is that
design.
yeah.
I love the colors and stuff too. Just again, I they're starting to come out with Christmas stuff too. We can see a little bit of Christmas here.
Yeah, that's the
That's the
Christmas
Dooney and
toonie for the
Burke
year.
one.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't know how much that is, but I'm sure it's a lot.
Yeah, it's a Dooney. It's gonna be expensive.
Yeah, I don't know. A few $100, I'm sure. And they have Bambi, um,
Lounge
Loungefly.
fly.
This is like a, is that Tiki Room or just Polynesian in general? I don't even
Yeah.
know, but
Oh,
that's a pretty cool one.
that is neat. I love the little buttons right there, like Mickey's. Almost looks like Mickey's.
Yeah, yeah, the Mickey Mouse buttons, and I like
Yeah.
the material here too. It almost has that like I don't even know what you call it, but like potato sack look.
I'm really impressed with the designs that you've looked at here. I mean that you've captured. They're doing a good. Even that one right there is very minimal, but I really like it.
Yeah,
That's
yeah, that's
Hercules, right? Isn't that
Hercules. Yep.
Hercules? Wow.
And this, I thought it was Captain Marvel, and my wife was like, "No, it's Pinocchio."
Yeah, yeah.
See the Pinocchio, the
I
hat
get
up there.
okay. The ringmaster, the mouse or whatever, right?
Yeah, I thought Disney didn't even like, or no, not Pinocchio, Dumbo. What am I saying?
Dumbo,
So
yeah, Dumbo.
Dumbo. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm so off with my stuff.
I didn't
But
even catch it, but I knew exactly what it
yeah,
was.
see,
So
you knew what I meant.
I
So
knew what you
see,
meant.
it's old guy talk. I speak incorrectly, and you understand what I should have said.
hmm I could understand how you got that mixed up. There is kind of, when Pinocchio's on that island, it's kind of circusy.
And traffic was so bad that I could actually, my wife actually recorded the "See you real soon" sign because the cars are just backed up right past it when we left. So, and that is it for my time at the parks. I didn't do a lot, but I guess I should wait to discuss my most recent stay at a Universal hotel when we're talking about Universal hotels. So
Yeah,
I waited for
that's
that one.
that's coming up. So let's get into that, John. You've stayed at a number of Universal hotels, but you finally got to stay at one that you haven't stayed at in a while. I've stayed at Endless Summer Dockside. Um, I just really quick in doing a little bit of research before this. My wife and I are going to go down for the 5K in January, and I was just looking at prices of rooms and per night at a Disney hotel. There's only two available hotels for from Tuesday of that marathon week to Saturday, which I mean, it's going to be booked up for marathon week. But I was looking at what the availability was, and the only availability that Disney has in their hotels right now, Boardwalk and Disney Animal Kingdom. Boardwalk, they're charging $492 a night for their room. And the Disney Animal Kingdom Lodge, I didn't look at what room it is. I'm pretty sure it's one of those really large, massive suites that they give you. They're charging $2,690 a night for that big room. So I looked at Universal, and Universal's is like this. Endless Summer is $85 a night. That's their value. Disney's was when they had a value resort, it was over $200 last I checked per night. $85 a night at Universal. Aventura, which is a moderate, 123. Cabana Bay, 123 a night that week.
Wow. I like
Sapphire,
Cabana Bay too. That's
yeah,
they have a bowling alley in there, and I love that food court. So much variety.
right. And I think that's where we're gonna stay. Sapphire Falls was 188. Royal Pacific was $1,345 a night, but they only had the presidential suite available. So that's the reason it was that much. And that is a premier hotel. These last three are all premier hotels. Hard Rock had no availability. Portofino Bay, $472 a night. Now, again, that is the top of the mark for Universal. Hard Rock, Royal Pacific, Portofino. And I believe all three of those hotels, if you're going to find a room in that week, it's going to be about $470 a night.
Just
Contrast, yeah,
keep in
contrast that with
mind
Disney. Go
keep
ahead.
in mind though too. This is just a side note. For those three hotels, you get
Right.
unlimited
Exactly.
express pass, meaning
Yes.
if you like a certain ride, you can go around and around. When you buy it in the parks, you get one use each. Unlimited is so nice to have, meaning
Yeah.
it just makes life so easy. And all of us pain in the butt pass holders, we don't get express till after 4. So during the day, it works so good.
Right.
So
Let's
again,
also.
400 some a night. If you had four people with you,
Oh,
and you wanted to buy express anyway, that could be a bargain. That's how I
absolutely. Well,
think
it.
of it anyway.
I would say, like, if you had four people staying there, it would almost be $400 just for the
It could
express
be.
pass. And the other thing is with that, I believe on those three hotels, don't you get a separate entrance or something to the park, or don't
Well,
you get some kind of perk like
yeah,
that?
yeah. Usually, and I don't know if it's. I think it's anytime, but at least during horror nights, I know they have the side entrance. It's a special one, but I think they do offer quicker ways in, but I'm not 100% sure. I didn't use it when I was there. I went to Islands of Adventure and I didn't see anything there.
Oh, okay.
But I know when I went to Horror Nights, the line was all the way out. I went over by the Blue Man Group and walked right through because I was a hotel guest. So.
That's
But
amazing.
again,
That's a good
I'm
perk.
not 100% sure. They're always playing around with that. Sometimes they have pass holder lines, and sometimes they have hotel lines. And again, just ask somebody. They may have that.
And that's the thing, like transportation and proximity to the parks. That's really a big deal in my opinion. And Universal, in my experience, now I stayed at the Value Resort Endless Summer. That's the only place that I've stayed at. Um, but I will say for $85 a night, the way that transportation worked, it was well worth it, man. Well worth it. And those rooms, in my opinion, are a little bit bigger. They're similar. They're almost the same size as your All Star resorts, but I think they're a little bit bigger. And honestly, I think they're they're nice. I mean, they're nicer in my opinion. I know the All Stars have just recently. I think they're almost all now with the laminate flooring, the wood look. Universal also employs that, but I I like the views. If you have a pool view, you're not just looking down at the pool. You're also looking at the scenery around, the
Right.
hotel and stuff, and that's really
What
cool.
gets me though is that price point is
Price
it's
point,
because I used to
unbelievable.
stay at Pop all the time and I loved the pricing I could get, but when I would get like 179 a night or something, I'd be like, yeah, I got a deal.
Yeah,
It's like now that Universal's making them look bad with these low cost hotels, and I think they're
I
doing it
think
on
so.
purpose. They're making a point that hey, why not stay at Universal? We're only a few minutes up the road.
I agree. I can tell you the endless summer lobby itself, it to me is as impressive, if not more impressive. That ground floor, that restaurant that they have in there is really good. I like their restaurant at Endless Summer better than Pop Century's food court. And I actually like
Mm.
Pop Century's food court. So I mean the perks that come along with that, they have a universal store in the lobby. Um, so they have a Starbucks in the lobby. They have a bar right in the lobby area. A lot of areas for you to just kind of relax and see and sit as you're waiting for your hotel room to be ready. Um, I will say this. I'm going to give a little bit of a tip when you check into that hotel. If you check in and check out and you don't use digital like the app to do it, you're going to be waiting in a line and that line takes a while to get through. But if you have for check-in that is done on your cell phone through an app and through their website, they have a separate line and that line goes really super quick. So I would encourage everyone to do digital check-in and digital checkout. It's so seamless. John, you recently this week stayed at one of the moderates. Want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, I was able to stay at Lowe's Sapphire Falls Resort, and I'm it. I wanted to mention I can't really talk about pricing that much. I literally paid I think $50 for the room because
Yeah.
my daughter is a team member.
Most people, it would be 188 a night for
All
that
right.
that
Yeah,
rate.
and I was gonna say when they do team member stuff, you do get it cheap. But I was on the first floor and I was in the wing where they put the people with pets. And my
Yeah,
view was absolutely nothing. Like it's like I think the road was up a hill and it was just like a wall and some plants. So I got a $50 room, but they give you the room that they wouldn't really want to give a guest unless they had to, you know. Like I heard like and again, if you have pets, it's great because. But I until around 11 o'clock, I did hear a dog barking and whining and stuff like that. So there's downsides of that too. But again, they're not going to give your team member a $50 room and give them, you know, the top floor with the best view and the nicest room. It's like I guess it can happen, but the smart thing is to give that to a normal guest, not a
yeah,
team member. So I don't begrudge them for that. I can say though, and this is a negative too, and I won't get too deep into the negative stuff, but my daughter was in the parking garage and she left after maybe like an hour. And when she left, I guess she didn't think that it would be, I think it charged her $47 in the parking garage. She was only there for an hour. And I guess she should have talked to the front desk about that or got her ticket stamped or I think if she would have used her room key instead of
yeah,
the parking ticket, it wouldn't have been like that. So we filled out a form to try to remedy that because that costs as much as our resorts.
yeah,
But again, it's not. It's just because we didn't know any better, and she shouldn't even. She could have parked out front, checked us in too. Like she didn't. She shouldn't have done that. But and they ended up comping our parking too, which I don't know how much it normally would be. So, you know, in the end, we might get that money back for her, but I didn't pay for parking. So it evens out in the end. They were definitely nice about it and tried to remedy it. But I just wanted to point that out. Don't ever park in that parking garage and think you're just
yeah,
going to leave and use the ticket because, my goodness, it's a lot of money.
yeah.
So,
They will sock you one.
and the other thing I didn't like about the parking garage, when I did finally leave, there was only one person in front of me. And I sat there for like probably like 7 or 8 minutes while they were, you know, maybe not trying to figure out what to do. And it made me think, imagine if a bunch of people were leaving. I could just it could be a real bottleneck. So that's a little bit of a that would be a concern for me. You know, if it was a busy time, whenever I don't know what time people typically would leave, but if it was a normal time, if there was a bunch of people at once trying to leave, that could get difficult, you
I
know.
think
There's one
checkout.
exit.
Yeah, yeah. Checkout with Universal is typically 11 a.m. around there somewhere. So,
Well, it made me think though you should have at least a couple lanes to get out, you know.
yeah,
But
they
one,
they
oh,
typically coming out of those garages have two entries and two exits. So there might have been one somewhere, but
I only saw one, and it made me think, wow. But all right, and here's the other negative thing. There was a tavern here, and you know we were hungry when we got there, so we were like, well, let's go eat at the tavern quick. They had like sliders and things like that.
mhm.
Well, we got a seat. We got seated, and after about 10 minutes, I said, we'll just eat at the park. I was like, unless this is the only thing you want to do tonight, because it was starting to not look good. And I saw probably 4 or 5 servers walking around, a group of them talking to each other. And I was like, we just got up and left at that point. And again, hopefully that's not a normal thing, but it happens to me a lot personally. I don't know why. I get seated in a restaurant. So this has happened to me more times than I could count. They kind of just nobody comes over, and I'm like, you know, I ever since I was I remember I was a teenager, and they seated me in Pizza Hut, This is back, those classic Pizza Huts with the
Mm-hmm.
salad bar and all that.
Sure.
I remember getting up and walking out of there when I just sat there and nobody ever. They, I guess I'm forgettable, but
I don't
and
know, but that's unacceptable. You did
well,
the right thing to get out of there.
yeah, yeah, because again, I want to go over to horror nights. It's already like 6 o'clock. I'm like, and looking around, and no food is coming out anywhere, and I'm like, I thought it'd be nice to get a quick, burger or something, but it did not turn out as good as I had hoped. And what I'm showing you here is a little bit of the pool. I got more picture and video of it, but that's from the lobby. This is from one of the hotel. That's from the elevator, actually. Here's a picture of the room. It's nicely decorated.
Yeah, it
It's
looks
it's
nice.
it's got a tropical vacation theme. Even the hallways, they have like a lantern on the wall and stuff. So, and again, the room was clean. The room was nice. I'm not going to complain about that. This is a picture from the lobby. You can see right from the lobby you can see the Hulk here, the lighthouse here. So I thought that was nice too. How much you can see from there. This is the stairway. A lot of people like that. And I did. One thing I wanted to mention too. From here, you can take a bus, which they have out front. You can take a bus to go to the parks, or they have a water taxi. But of course, I don't use either of those things. I end up walking. And I wanted to tell you, I timed it and I recorded the walk. So it was zero point 0.7 miles. Here, I can show you the whole walk here. Of course, it's sideways. Anyway, it's zero point 0.7 miles, and it took about 13 minutes.
Hmm.
And honestly, I thought about it, and there was a big line of people to get on the boat there, and I thought about it, and I'm like, if it takes even 5 more minutes for that boat to get here, I could walk there quicker. And I think I was 100% correct that it's honestly faster to walk than, wait for a boat, get in the boat backs up, it slowly gets there, it has to dock again. A bunch of people slowly get out of the boat, and, it's like I could literally walk there quicker, and I did. And just for reference, Aventura is only another probably 2 minutes added to that. So Aventura, you could basically take the same walking path, and it would be about 15 minutes probably instead of 13. So again, I highly recommend walking. And if you compare it to Disney, they don't have trams at Epcot right now. It's no different for me than parking at Epcot. They parked me out so far yesterday. It was an easy 10-minute walk to get to the entrance. They parked me as far as they could in this direction. Then I had to go as far all the way over to the furthest entry point here, and then all the way back over to the furthest ticket there. So they had me zigzagging for about 30 minutes at Epcot. So 15-minute or 13-minute walk is not nothing to me. Disney has me do that for no reason all the time.
Something that really strikes me is that you're saying in walking distance and water taxi and bus. How many moderates are hotels are in walking distance of any of the Disney parks?
That's a good point. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
just it's not. It's only deluxe, right? And so Universal has made a really nice walking experience right to the parks from three moderate resorts. In fact, Cabana Bay opens right up to Volcano Bay, right? I mean, it's connected to it.
Yeah. Yep. It is. And you can walk from there too, because I've done it already.
Mm-hmm.
It takes longer. I think that's probably like a 25-minute walk or something, but that it's doable. But
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, here's a little bit of the pool. Very nice pool at
That's a nice
Sapphire.
pool.
There's a water slide. There's a kids play area which I didn't go into, but it looks like a fort. So fun thing for kids. Water slide for kids. A, a zero depth entry pool where you can wade right in, which that's always nice.
My kids would love that.
Yeah, people love that because you can kind of relax at any part you want. And I went out here in the morning because it's so hard to get pools on camera because you don't want
Yeah.
to be pointing your camera at people
Right.
in swimsuits and stuff.
Yeah. Sure.
People, I wouldn't like that. I'd be like,
No,
what kind of
I
creep is this?
appreciate I appreciate that you did that. And it's yeah, it's always kind of weird, you know.
Yeah, there you can see the water slide, and over here is the kids play area. Like I said, the pool's impressive. I didn't swim in it because I was only there one night, but I can honestly say it'd be a beautiful place to be at for a extended stay. But I still have to say my favorite moderate hotel at Universal, and I never stayed there, but just from walking through, I feel like Cabana Bay is kind of the moderate, right? Like
It is. It
it's
is. Yeah.
it seems like a value, but not really. It's got a lot of stuff there.
Yeah, I'd say Cabana Bay, Aventura, and Sapphire Falls would fit into that, kind of mid-range. And for Universal, I'd say it's moderate, but Cabana Bay is only $123 a night.
Yeah,
Compare that to a value resort at Disney. That's still their moderate Cabana Bay is cheaper than the value. And some people might say call Cabana Bay or Aventura value resorts, but I would say as far as Universal goes, it's probably on that lower moderate
yeah, I have to
range.
agree. And again, I was very impressed with Cabana Bay. Especially if you got a room overlooking Volcano Bay,
Hmm.
like I said, there's a food court with all different kinds of food in there. There's a bowling alley, bars, restaurants. It just feels like there's a lot there, and I think that's the one with the lazy river too,
It
isn't it?
is.
Like
Yes, it
that's
is.
there's a lazy river at the hotel. It's like
Yeah.
unbelievable, and your own entrance to Volcano Bay. It's like
And they have
that's a lot.
families. They have a tower full of family suites that overlook Volcano Bay, right? So
Yeah.
that's that's impressive to me alone.
Yeah, yeah. I was just showing some shots along the walking path to Universal, but I did also go to um, Royal Pacific,
Mm.
and I have to tell you, I have stayed at Royal Pacific probably more than any of the others. Like when I used to vacation, this would be the cheapest of the resorts because back then there was only the three. It was Hard Rock, Portofino Bay, and Royal Pacific. This one was always the least expensive, so we'd end up staying here. But revisiting these again, wow, they are really fancy hotels. Like, and this is the Polynesian themed one. So now that Disney is turning the Polynesian resort into Moana and modern designs everywhere. Like they just redid Kona now. I'm sure I didn't look at it yet, but it probably looks like the same restaurant style as like the Marriott now would be my guess. But anyway, this still has such a Polynesian feel to it. Like this bridge is up. It's a bridge going over top, and it's like rainforesty and water all around underneath. And again, it's all themed. Yeah, see, you can see here. Like I don't know why. I just find that impressive to have that kind of thing under the entrance. And I've stayed here a bunch. This is my favorite of the expensive resorts, and the reason is it really does have a Polynesian feel to it. Like, look at that lobby; it's a
Yeah.
beautiful lobby, and and again, it feels really. it feels like a luxury hotel. Like it definitely is equivalent to a deluxe. It's probably it's fancier than most of the Disney deluxes that I go into. It just has such a fancy feel to it. And there's the courtyard. You see a lot of people, take pictures of this courtyard all the time.
You know what I like about that, what you're showing here, though, in comparison to the Polynesian? And I really like the Polynesian a lot. I've stayed there when I was
I
a
love
young
it, but
kid. Yeah. But I mean, what I really like about this Polynesian themed resort are the colors aren't dark. It's light. It's open in spaces, whereas the Polynesian at Disney, it kind of has that, darker Polynesian wood, and it's just in general kind of a darker resort. This is very bright and just has a open feel to it that you just don't get there, and I really
yeah,
like that.
I gotta say too, and hopefully I captured some of it. But here's when you go back inside in part of the lobby. It's got a modern feel, but
Yeah,
also a Polynesian. Like look at that roof.
yeah, it's great, man. It's like
The
such a neat
architecture
mix.
there is unbelievable, but it's modern, but it still has the Polynesian theme to it. So it's like I don't know what it is. I guess it's like if you were if you were a billionaire but you lived in Hawaii, this might be what your house looks like. Like
Yeah,
just just and again, I think I got some more the artwork that they have here. Luckily, this was done back when everybody cared about real stuff. Like this is hand carved sculptures in the lobby. Like just so ornate and so much to look at. And there's one on each side. They're not the same because again, they're hand carved. Like the amount of time and the amount of value to that. Um, they have these weird things coming off the beams of the ceiling, and they literally have spikes on them. I remember telling my wife, "I hope that never falls." But the design, though, it's just this is a random wood carving on the stairwell, like just on the stairwell. Like these are massive hand carved artwork, and this is why this hotel was my favorite. I love the authenticity of it. I love
Mhm.
being in Orlando and being surrounded by architecture and artwork from another area of the world that's very well done. And this is like I don't think you can see it from here, but it's literally like a carriage house kind of thing. But again, it is something that is handmade. And this is one of the restaurants down there, the island. I didn't eat in here, but these I did years ago, but really nice. And again, it's the theme is strange, but so well themed. Like just
Yeah, it's
I
like
really do.
it's modern Polynesian is what
Yeah,
it's
and
making
again,
from.
even this, it's like that's all hand done. That's hand carved artwork is part of it. And this is why I feel like Disney's getting away from this more and just saying, let's design a print with Moana in there and throw it up. It's like I don't feel like it's authentic anymore. Like what in the heck is this guy? Honestly, there's two different of these things on either side. And they have like these umbrellas in them, and I'm like, that to me is just so cool. And again, why exactly? I don't know. It's just where do you see something like that? It's like I don't
I
see
don't
things like
know.
that anywhere. So I'm at this resort and I'm just enjoying the beauty of it, and the artwork. It's like I don't know why. I really do appreciate stuff like that. That they have real things from. I don't know what islands are in uh, the what they would consider the Polynesia area, but really cool stuff. This is a bench. It's carved out of a piece of wood. It's literally it's just out by the elevator. And I'm like, it looks like it should be in a museum or something. It's like, nah, just a hand carved bench out by the, and even the trees, you can see how this tree is like,
It's
bent
authentic,
over.
Yeah.
It almost looks like a bonsai tree. It's even blocking the walkway technically, but it fits. It fits so well. And this is the hotel that has the luau too.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
they still have a luau, unlike Disney. They got rid of their luau
Well,
because
right. They stopped their luau for a while because of the COVID precautions and all that stuff, and they brought it back recently. So I don't think it's been back all that long, but they have definitely brought it back. I've seen video of it. It
yeah,
looks fantastic.
I'm pretty sure I saw a sarcastic tweet or something about we still have our luau or
Yeah. Yeah.
something.
Right.
But anyway, the pool area is beautiful too. Like this is a big like water feature over here that has all kinds of crazy stuff going on with water. And I've been here at night. They have movies out by the water, like not by the water, like you can be in the water watching movies and
Hmm.
stuff. So just really nice pool area. And they don't have the zero entry part, but this is one of the older hotels, so that's a more modern kind of thing they've been working on.
Mhm.
But yeah, look, this thing glows orange at night. I wish I would have got it at night, but you can just see it's like an ornate iron carving with an orange paint and light behind it, and then stone. I'm like, they put stuff everywhere around this resort to the point where they didn't need to go that far, but that's what Disney used to do. You know what I mean? That's what it reminds me of. I think that's why it's always been my favorite. So this is back to Sapphire Falls. But luckily, while I was there, I got some good video of my favorite deluxe resort too. So,
Yeah.
and I don't have video of it, but the Hard Rock Cafe, extremely nice, white polished. It feels like it's like marble white polished floors. Like it just seems too fancy. Like when you're there, it seems so fancy. It feels like it belongs like in a super like rich part of New York City or something.
Hmm.
It's nice though. I stayed there twice, and rooms are beautiful. Great hotel. What I can say about the value hotels though too is I had breakfast at that Royal Pacific once, and I remember thinking, we better just eat at the parks next time because it was expensive. That
Yeah.
it was not cheap, and that was probably 20 years ago. So who knows what it is now, or 15 years ago.
Yeah. I can say the Endless Summer resort, the food there is it's not overly expensive. I didn't think. I thought that the food court price was very comparable to um, what you would find at Pop Century, but I thought the food personally was a little higher quality there. So um, that's my opinion. Some people may differ, but they just uh, they just have a different type of food there and a different environment. I really like it a lot. I don't know. I can't speak for the other Universal hotels. You said yourself you stayed at Sapphire Falls, and that bar type thing didn't really work out
Yeah,
for you. So
honestly, Sapphire Falls isn't my favorite. Everybody loves it so much, like all the Universal like locals and pass holders and the big fans of Universal. It's like their favorite. And I guess I'm just a weirdo, but I like I never stayed there. My daughter did, but Cabana Bay seems to be so cool.
mhm.
And but if I could stay anywhere, I'd probably go back to Royal Pacific because again, it just feels like such a luxurious resort. You might spend 500 a night, but unlimited express could be worth it if you have
Right, that's a big
people in the
deal.
room. So
So just a question about Sapphire Falls though. Did they have a food court or was it just restaurants?
no, I don't think I have video of it, but there is it's a quick service location, and I got an empanada there at probably like at 10 o'clock at night, just a little one. So they have some hot food, some cold food. You can get candy and things like that, but it's not much of a food court. It's not like a, it is like you can go in and get whatever you want. So
I see.
that I didn't like as much too, and that's why I said at the less expensive hotels there was a better food options. So
Hmm.
again, Cabana Bay, man, you had so much to choose from when I saw that one. So
I know Endless Summer, it's a lot of like southern, maybe not, I wouldn't say soul food, but it's kind of leaning towards that southern soul food in some ways. So,
and I didn't stay there, but Aventura has some food options too. They in their lobby they have different food options, like several, and some of them were pretty appealing. I forget there was one I was gonna get, and then the person. This is months ago now. The person in front of me proceeded. There was a family that just I just lost patience and walked away. So you know how I am. I'm not,
well,
so I
yeah.
didn't get it, but the food court there is pretty nice, and they've got their pool is okay. I don't remember seeing a water slide or anything. It's just kind of a standard pool because that's mainly just a tower kind of hotel. The cool stuff there is on top. They have like the restaurant bar on top of that where you can look out and see everything. So I've never been up there, but that's what they tout as their you know thing to do there.
Yeah, that's what I was say about Endless Summer. They don't have any fancy things like that. They do have a nice, they have nice, like a nice little bar lounge, like a lounge, I guess I would call it, in the hotel. But the pools themselves, they have the zero entry pools like you described, and they're sand bottom, where the zero entry is. There's no I don't believe there's slides if I remember correctly. There's not a lot. There's no slides in those pools, but each tower, Endless Summer Dockside has two pools, and they're about the same size. And what's really cool, especially for Orlando natives, is that that hotel was built over top of the former Wet and Wild
Mm.
water park. And what Universal has done to pay tribute to that is in the pool bars, which they have really nice pool bars at Endless Summer Dockside. The drinks are all themed after the water slides that used to be at that theme park. So if you remember as a kid in the 80s and 90s of going to those to that particular theme park, that water park, you will recognize the drinks, the names of the drinks, the mixed drinks they do, and some of them are non-alcoholic too. They're not all alcoholic, but they have some really neat options as far as drinks go there. Expensive, but that's theme park,
Yeah.
it's the way it is. But they have really great pool bars, in my opinion. There, the pools themselves, the kids had a great time there, and so yeah, they have the zero entry, like you said. That seems to be a trend everywhere now. Some of the other hotels, like you said, they're older, so they won't necessarily have them.
I got my kid who wants to play right now.
That's the star of the show right there. So overall, John, I just wanted to talk because about the Universal hotels because I'm thinking about planning. Staying at one for the 5K, just because the Disney hotels are so crazy expensive, and I really think the Universal hotels offer great value. They have a lot of perks, and I don't see a reason why more people don't give them a chance. And again, you just stayed at one this week, so I thought it was a great opportunity to talk about it.
Yeah, yeah, and my biggest takeaway is how close these resorts really are to Universal. Even the further ones out, like I stayed at, if you timed your walks, point less than 3/4 of a mile is nothing on your Disney trip. So again, it probably takes longer the queue for the Bugs house
Yeah.
at Horror Nights than it did for me to walk to the park. So it's
Yeah.
not. It's much smaller than it feels like. It feels like, oh, how are we going to get to the parks? It's like
Mhm.
just walk right over. It's like, man, that's impressive that
Yeah.
you know you can stay at a resort that what do you say? It's usually like 188 a night or something like that for Sapphire Falls. You can
Yeah.
walk to the
Yeah.
parks in 13 minutes or relax and take the boat. So either way, that's pretty impressive. So, and you had said too, the one thing I wanted to mention, you had said on your past visits how good the bus service works too when
Yeah,
you do stay at like
absolutely.
Endless Summer. So,
Endless summer, you can't walk to the parks from there. You can only take the buses, or unless you want to find your own mode of transportation. But there's no reason to. Those buses, they load up quick, they get to the park quick, and it's a constant loop. I mean, one bus, it's way more efficient in my opinion than what Disney's is. And the buses themselves are motor coaches. I mean, these are literally the what's the big bus company down there? Mears. It's a Mears bus because that's who Universal uses. So it's cloth, comfortable seating. It's You're not going to be standing. It's not all that standing room you get at Disney and then line like side seats and things like that. It is literally just motor coaches. Again, comfortable, and they constantly are running them. So I think they're better than Disney as far as the transportation
well,
goes.
and just so people know too, in the Dr. Phillips area is over, by towards Universal, like that area over there. There is an entry to Disney property fairly close to Universal. Like sometimes I would go to the Whole Foods that was over there, and I would be driving by, and I'd be like, "How can there be a Disney entrance here?" But there was because the Disney property, I think it's 50 square miles. So,
Hmm.
and again, it's not publicized much, but there's a way to get right on Disney property, pretty darn close, without much I-4. Again, I think you have to research it more because Google doesn't really tell you about it much, but it's there
Yeah.
though. It,
Huh.
it, it always surprises me when I see it because it feels like you're in the middle of it's like here's a chain restaurant, some houses, and this and that, and then welcome to Disney World. I'm like, wait a minute, that can't be there,
Hmm.
but it is.
Wow.
So again, I never figured out how to use it properly, but it's there. It probably takes you out by like Golden Oaks or something like that. So it probably takes you through places on Disney property you're not really supposed to go through technically, but
Yeah. Right.
you can though. But anyway, the price on the Endless Summer is so much cheaper than Disney that it is worth being, 5 or 10 miles down the road from it. That little bit of time in the car, you're saving a lot every night. So it's
Absolutely.
quite the difference.
That's where we stayed on our last trip. Towards the end of our trip, we stayed at Boardwalk at the beginning because we got a good deal. And then if we would have extended our days, it would have totally erased the deal that we got. So instead of staying extra days at Boardwalk, we stayed down Endless Summer and we paid very little. And so I can't recommend it enough. I think Endless Summer is a very good resort for a value resort. Um, it's clean, the service is great, and the lobby is fantastic. I really
Yeah,
like
and
the
as
lobby.
far as I go, I've stayed at Portofino too, which is really nice. If you have a lot of money and you're going to spend a lot of time at the Universal parks, or even if you're in the middle, definitely check the pricing for Express and see what it is. Because again, if you've got four or maybe even five people staying in one of those rooms, which I think you can put five in there,
Mhm.
five Express passes, and if you stay, what we used to do is stay one night at Royal Pacific, and we would check in the morning, but our room wouldn't be ready. But we could go to the parks with our unlimited pass, and then we check out the next day, and we could go to the parks again with the unlimited pass. So one night, 2 days of express. It starts to be cheaper to stay there than not if you're actually interested in express. It technically could be cheaper to just stay there.
Absolutely.
So
And again, if you're not interested in Express and you don't want to pay that kind of price and you just want to, go to the park and do a normal park day, that's great too. You cannot beat $85 a night and
no,
endless summer. You can stay there and you can still do
probably
your
can't
park
get a Motel
experience.
6 for that.
I don't think
Not in
you're not
Orlando.
you're certainly not going to stay at a Hilton for that price, in
No.
Orlando. So I think it's just unbeatable. They have these great options, and what's amazing is they still haven't raised those prices, whereas Disney is constantly raising prices. Universal's kind of held the line on these hotel prices, so I just think they're in it to win it right now,
Yeah, they've
man.
got a long-term plan, so
Yeah,
they're and taking control, uh, making people want to stay at their resorts is part of it. So
yeah,
that's
I agree.
probably what they're doing.
So I think that gives people some good information and some good options, and based on our experience. And this will not. I really think this, John. I could be wrong, but I don't think this is going to be the last Universal Hotel show that we're going to. This won't be the last discussion that we will have on
Yeah,
Universal
probably
Hotels.
not. I really want to go to Royal Pacific now after looking at all the
Yeah,
stuff.
and I want to go to Cabana Bay. So I think that'll probably happen within the next few months. So
Yeah,
all
I
right,
would like to go to Cabana Bay too. I think
yeah.
I could. Yeah, that would be nice.
All right, John, how did your week, or I'm sorry, how did your social media go for this week?
Um, I'm definitely in a downturn right now, so all my numbers are kind of reduced. Like this is the account that I used to get. I used to get so many views on my Universal account that I would bury my bonus goal. I would have like a week to go. I already met the whole thing. So everything, I had so many with millions of views. So, now I've got, 17,000, 18, 16, 10. Nobody liked the guy in the fire ring. That's one of my worst ones. But honestly, just pretty low overall. I think like 50,000 is probably like my highest in the last week or two. Although there's 153. I was going to say, I put this one in the Disney one. I dropped it right into the reels, not to my feed. So my followers, it won't go to them. That actually got 74,000 views. So
Wow,
I think I'm going to start doing Disney on this one too, but just throwing
yeah,
it into the ether. And
yeah,
if it hits, I get credit for it, but I won't bother my followers who probably would be like, why are you showing me Disney crap?
yeah.
So
I see. Like, there's an Animal Kingdom with the Tree of Life there, right? Right
oh
down
yeah,
a
yeah, I
couple.
did
Yeah,
that one too. That only got 4,000. But again, I dropped that right into the Reels thing, and usually by the end of my bonus period, I have like 95 Reels I could have posted, but I didn't because I don't want to spam everybody. But I could drop them in here, so I think I'm going to start coming up with a plan like that. Because again, 74. There's another like 4,000. Like this one here I did. There's another 3,000. I could it could times that by 90. You know, I might get another million views by just dumping stuff in that's not going to my followers. But again, it's not been going great. But finally made it to 104,000. That just happened while we were doing the podcast. So
hmm.
that's new. I think my I think my what do you call it, bonus, it's about 400 and some dollars right now. It's not terrible, but again, I used to I used to completely surpass the whole thing, and I would get 11 million views and have a week to go. So I don't even know what to do. So here's my Disney. I'm at 106,000 followers. Again, it slowed down greatly, but after a while, you stop getting mad about it. I don't feel too angry anymore. I'm getting more to the point of I don't care. Like I care, but I don't. So yeah, it's not terrible though. 18,000, 22,000, 26,000, 33. They're all good numbers. This 50,000, that's not mine. That's a Days Gone Disney. He asked which decade was the best. So he did that on purpose to try to generate talking, and it worked. 204 comments. And this is from 4K theme park video, the 27,000. So the best one in the last couple of weeks is not mine. But what can you do? Yeah. Oh yeah, and this one is from my friend Disney Scott. Oh, we talked about this the last time. 134,000 views.
Wow.
Because
Yeah.
he just said, who else misses the old Epcot instead of whatever this is? It's like, man, that sure did work. It's the best performing one, but as you can tell, my stuff does not go very far anymore. And I guess I need to rethink how I do it. I honestly think you got to get to the point where you have to draw people in and trick them. And I don't like that. That's why they say you got to have a hook. It's like I'm not a used car salesman. I don't really want a hook. If you don't want to watch the video, I don't want to say, how can I fool people into watching more? It's like, I don't know. But I guess I need to do that because
it's marketing and salesmanship. Yeah.
Again, that's part of what this is. Who else misses the old Epcot? You're trying to pull them in with something to say, all right, I want to look further into this. I want to express my opinion on it. I want to see what else he says after that, and that works for me. But again, I can't make every post controversy, or the next thing you know, you're inside the magic.
That's right.
Says they don't like dogs. It's like it gets to be dumb. So I don't know. I got to find a fine line in there somewhere between dumb and getting people to watch. So, but anyway, the TikTok, I'm up to 73,400. I think I'm going to refresh that. Just make sure. Yep. 2.5 million likes, 73,000. TikTok's still good. I was on a major upswing for a little while, but it went back to being settled. I thought my Splash Mountain was going to go over 1 million, but it stopped at 827. But the thing about TikTok is you never know. It could pick back up in a week and all of a sudden go right back up. So we'll see. Yeah, nothing too exciting recently. Expedition Everest got 131,000. I only put that up because people here said put the drop in, and I was like, okay, so I put it in. And let's see, yeah, I guess that's about it. Nothing too impressive. I'm at the end of a bonus cycle, so I honestly haven't been trying that much either. Although I can say that they offered me another bonus from Instagram, and they said, show off your Halloween costume. You can do 3 reels. It expires on November 2nd. And for me, my max bonus is 8,500 if I can get 1 million views. I'm not going to get 1 million. I don't. I couldn't pay for 1 million views at this point. Matter of fact, I think I've only ever gotten over 1 million views a couple times on this account, and that was in July when things were going well. But anyway, I was thinking I don't put myself on here, so I don't know. I figured why not accept the bonus and try it. I put Oh, I'm on the wrong account. I was gonna say I put this up as one of them
Mhm.
because it's Halloween. It's a person in a costume, and then I put this one up as well. Yeah, sorry. I put this one up of the Wicked Witch of the West, and I'm hoping. I don't think Instagram would bother looking at my stuff close. But as far as the computer knows an algorithm, maybe that is me. Maybe I am the bride. I don't know. They don't know
That's
anything.
right. That's true. It's all algorithms,
So I
right?
figured I would try it, and the worst case they could say, "Oh, this doesn't count" or something. But so far, I have $101 in bonus for those two videos. So
Yeah.
hey, I got one more I can do. I'll probably just do like Mickey and Minnie in the parade or something.
Mhm.
I don't know. All I can do is try, but it brought my bonus. I'm up to $382 for the month. So again, that's it's not terrible, but 100 some thousand. I should be rolling in money, I guess. But anyway, that brought it up to $482 if you add that 100 to it. So not bad. I might end up close to $1,000 this month.
That's pretty
So
good.
that's real money.
I mean,
If
yeah.
you include $10 from uh, YouTube and uh, who knows, I get anywhere from 10 cents to $10 a day from TikTok too. I think I'm up to like 470 some dollars for the life of my account, but I never asked for that too. So if you add them all up, and it's not that bad, but I'm still looking for a way to maximize it. Because having multiple accounts over 100,000, I should be able to get some money out of this somehow. I'm
Yeah.
still convinced I can, but I'm working on it.
There you go. All right, John. Where can they find you online?
You can find me at SeeWDW on Instagram and Facebook and TikTok, and SeeWDW on YouTube, CUO on Instagram and Facebook as well. And yeah, follow me on Facebook for CUO. They give me a bonus there, but I don't have enough followers to get much out of it. So that's the one. I wish I had the people to get money out of that, because even if that was another few hundred a month, that'd be a few hundred, a few hundred, and a few hundred. That's pretty
Sure.
good.
Yeah, that's
If I
fine.
trusted them, I could buy a car with that, but then they'd stop immediately, and I'd have a big
Yeah,
argument.
that's they just took a really big nosedive in their
Oh, I
stock.
saw.
So,
Yeah, the
yeah,
stock went
good.
to like $100 a share,
Oh,
and yeah, it
yeah.
just keeps getting beat up more and more. So I uh,
Oh, yeah.
I think it will recover, but yeah, they definitely need to straighten a few things out there.
All right, you can find me at the Giant Rat, Giant Rat on Instagram and on TikTok, and that should do it for this week. We will see you on the next one.